Good afternoon, Excellencies, Advisors, Indigenous Peoples Representatives. My name is Terri Henry. I am the Secretary of State for the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians. My people are located near the Great Smoky Mountains National Park in western North Carolina. But before I get started, I want to express my gratitude to the UN Voluntary Fund for supporting my travel to this meeting. So thank you very much. It is an honor to be here and to provide statements to inform this process. I would like to begin by noting that this process is about creating space for Indigenous peoples representatives in institutions and to participate in the work of the UN. This is so because it is these representatives and institutions in particular that are currently unable to participate in the work of the United Nations. Indigenous governing institutions should have the opportunity to submit documents and proposals, make statements, and take part in United Nations activities on a permanent or ongoing basis. They should have priority over NGOs with regard to seating and order of speaking, as national human rights institutions do. However, these new rules should not impact existing arrangements for Indigenous peoples organizations and NGOs accredited by the Economic and Social Council as recognized in the elements for discussion. Indigenous individuals and organizations currently participate in the work of the United Nations in a number of ways. First, as Indigenous peoples organizations in the work of the Expert Mechanism and Permanent Forum. Second, as non-governmental organizations in consultative status with the Economic and Social Council in the work of the Human Rights Council. And finally, as non-governmental or civil society actors through ad hoc mechanisms in a few other UN processes and funds. Indigenous individuals, as part of voluntary constituted civil society organizations, thus have several well-established mechanisms for being accredited to participate in the work of the United Nations. Such procedures should be maintained. Improvement may be needed in these procedures, but it was not called for by the World Conference Outcome document and is thus beyond the scope of this consultative process. Yet none of these existing participation processes or mechanisms recognizes the distinct political, social, and legal nature of Indigenous peoples governing institutions like my own tribal government. Indigenous governing institutions are unable to participate in their own right in important meetings and activities which may affect them. Without a special invitation, Indigenous governing institutions as such cannot participate in, even to simply attend and observe, sessions of the Human Rights Council or the Third Committee of the General Assembly, which adopt annual resolutions on the rights of Indigenous peoples. Nor can they participate in any meetings of the Commission on the Status of Women or other functional commissions of the Economic and Social Council. This process can correct this problem and create a space for my government and for other Indigenous peoples, institutions, and representatives to contribute to the work of the United Nations. Thank you very much.